All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another live Instagram photo critique. My name is Eric Marks with FindingMiddleEarth.com, and I know it's been a while since I've done one of these critiques. I did a live stream last night, and people were asking me about this. So I've been so wrapped up and busy doing my Nikon D850 review that I've just been lazy about this. So I'm doing another critique right now. If you're watching the recording of this and you weren't able to catch it live, go ahead and look in the description, and I will make sure to post the timestamp of where the actual photo critique starts if you want to skip all this just hanging out here that I'm doing while people are joining in. So I always like to hang out just for a few minutes to let people join in, join the chat room, see what's going on. So I know if you're watching the recording, that can be boring, so just check the description and I'll have the exact timestamp where you can just skip ahead right to the critique. But since I am live at the current moment, I will hang out for a minute and let people, just give people a chance to join in while I get all my windows and my photos set up as usual. While you guys are joining, remember to check me out on social media, at Finding Middle Earth on Facebook, Finding Mid Earth on Twitter, and then Finding Middle Earth on Instagram. So go ahead and check me out there. And again, welcome to the live critique today. It's going to be a fun one. I have 3 photos to critique today, and then 2 photos that are like 5-star photos that I just wanted to kind of show off and give some honorable mentions to because I thought they were really, really cool. One of them is a composite, which is very, very cool. And then the other one, I believe, is just a natural landscape image, which is also very cool. So we'll look at those here in a second. So, all right, well, if you guys are joining in, join the chat room. Let me know you're here. Let me know everything is looking good and the audio sounds good, all that good stuff. And then we will get started here pretty soon. All right. All right, looks like we have a few people in here now. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in. I'll go ahead and critique the first photo, and then I'll just kind of check the chat window in between photos here so that I don't ignore you guys for too long. All right, so let's go ahead and critique the first photo here. So this one, I believe on Instagram, was labeled fall colors or autumn colors, something like that. And my biggest issue with this image right off the bat is that these trees right here, this whole section right here, are just kind of blocking what I think should probably be the most interesting part of the photo. My mind almost wonders what is just past this tree line. I want to know what's on the other side, and I feel like looking at this tree line is just kind of bothering me. It's kind of making me want to just, step on a ladder and see what's on the other side. So other than that, let's see. I think that this little pathway down here, I can see where you might have been trying to use a leading line of this little path, which is nice. And then there's some like rocks and dirt over here, and I can see that, I can see why the colors might have intrigued you to shoot this, because there is some green trees all in here and very bright yellow foliage and grass and whatever in here. And while they are a nice color combination, yellow and green always work nice together, the biggest issue is that there's no real subject of this image. I don't really know what the subject is. I'm not sure what you want me to focus on. So I feel like the entire foreground is just kind of messy, because there's this nice yellow, but it's mixed in with these, just very desaturated, dry, messy rocks. A stream here that, again, I can tell you tried to use this as a leading line, but the stream just kind of looks gross and messy. It doesn't look, peaceful and like with tranquility like it should for like an autumn color shot. For example, to make this better, and I don't know if this was possible, but I'm looking over here at this mountain here, and then this mountain in the background just beyond the trees. So if you could have maybe set up your camera over here, okay, right over here to the left on that hill, and you could point the camera this way to this mountain, that would have probably been an amazing shot, because you could have probably gotten some kind of nice foreground element over here, even if it was just the natural slope of the mountain going down, and then you would have had kind of the rocky face of this mountain to the side to the left of your composition, and I'm assuming, down this hill is probably some kind of valley, and then you would have had this mountain over here, in the background, and that would have probably been a really solid composition. And then of course you know, even though the sky is not amazing, you still have some nice texture in it. So I think overall all of the ingredients are there to make a good photo. I think the biggest issue is just the composition. If you'd have just shifted your camera a different way and set it up pointing in a different way, then, you know, the scene is beautiful. Just really ask yourself next time, what is the subject? What do I want to convey with this photo? What do I want my viewers to see? You know, where do you want the attention to go with this photo? Because mine immediately goes to that mountain off to the far left. I want to see more of that and more of the mountains. But I feel like just that tree line right there in the middle, you know, right smack dab in the middle of the photo is kind of blocking all of the interesting stuff that's happening in the scene. So again, thank you for submitting the photo. I think that the biggest issue there is just some composition. So keep that in mind for next time, just asking yourself what your viewers would want to see. All right, before we move on to the next photo, let's hop over to the chat and see if there's anything going on in here. Let's see. All right, still nothing going on in the chat. Man, you guys are quiet today. I did a live stream last night and the chat wouldn't stop. All right, well, I'm hoping I'm coming through okay. If you guys can at least hear me and see me, let me know so I know I'm not just talking to myself here. Just let me know something in the chat while I'm reviewing or critiquing this next image here. All right, let's go ahead and hop back in to the critique. Okay, so this is the next image here. And again, I'll put all the links to the people's Instagrams that submitted these images so that way you guys can go follow them. It is a very mature, brave thing to do as a photographer, to be able to submit your work to be critiqued, because you don't know how it's going to go, and so that is a very humble thing to do. Okay, so this image is kind of one of those like good and bad. Like I love the subject matter here, which you can tell the photographer really wanted you to focus on the icicles, all here and here and here, all these cool little bits of ice here. And then the moss. And if you guys know me, I'm a sucker for green mossy rocks. So all the moss in that nice green color, the greenish yellow, all through there is really nice. That is actually a really, really good subject. The biggest issue that I have with this is that you did kind of that rule of thirds thing where you stuck the ice and the moss over here. So if you can imagine kind of a grid, like a tic-tac-toe board, you kind of stuck it on the left third here. And the issue with that is the right third, so this part of the image, there's nothing going on. It's all kind of taking away from the ice. For example, right here, this whole big bit right here is a big blob of light. It's overexposed, and it's taking all my attention away from the ice and the moss. Now down here, from here down is okay, because it's just some trees. But I think that this photo could have been saved with either getting closer in with a telephoto lens or a macro lens, or even a wide angle lens. If you get really close with a wide angle and kind of get, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 inches away from the ice, and then let the rest of it fall into a lighter kind of bokeh effect with a wide angle. But I think probably just zooming in a little further, or simply cropping the image. So if you just crop the image here, okay, watch how big of a difference that can make. Let's just try. I like trying that sometimes. And that's what's funny about these critiques, is that 9 times out of 10, if you crop the image, it just fixes it. It just fixes the entire thing. So there you go. I just cropped it into like a portrait mode, and that makes the photo so much better, so much less distracting. I know what the subject matter is. I know what the photographer is trying to tell me. He was out on a cold morning. He found some icicles. He wanted to take in the details. It looks good. So if you wanted to make it more of a 4x5 or even a square image, something like that would work. Okay, another nice crop. The biggest issue there, I think, is just the composition, choosing to leave that right third of the image in there. So there you go. That image was fixed with a simple crop, and I think it's much better compared to that right there. That was the original. So the biggest issue is that from about here, I'm just going to draw a line from about here over to the right, is just all kind of taking away from what the main subject matter is over here. And you never want your image to be fighting with itself. I say that all the time when I teach. You never want your images to to have this like left side that's awesome and then a right side that's taking away from the left side, or vice versa. You never want something in your image that's taking away from another part. That's just kind of a big no-no in composition. So again, composition issue, you know, a great subject matter, could have been fixed with a simple crop, I think, but always try to catch that in camera so that you don't have to crop away at your megapixels there. All right, so before we hop on to the next photo, let me hop back into the chat and see what's going on. Let's see over here. All right, everyone says they can hear me. That's good. You're coming through perfectly. Let's see. I'm liking this one. Good. All right, good. I'm glad to know you guys are alive in there. I'm starting to think that YouTube was having some issues. It says, at one point it said there was like 15 people watching. Now it says, what, 9 or 10? Yeah, so, okay, good. Glad to know you guys are there. Because you guys know, don't put it past me, that I've done an entire critique before with my microphone on mute, or like a private. I had the privacy thing set to private instead of a public stream. So, all right, thanks for letting me know. All right, let's go ahead. By the way, while I'm doing this next critique, if you guys have any comments or any other, you know, advice or whatever for the photographer, put them in the comments or the live chat. So let's go ahead and hop in to the next photo here. There's one more photo left to critique, and then there will be 2 at the end that I show that I just think are particularly really cool that I don't really have much to say about. Okay, so here's this one. So this one, I kind of don't want to be mean to this one, but I'm going to be more mean to this one than the other 2 because I know this one has really, really good potential to be really good. So this image is made up of this snow, right? We have snow in the midground, snow in the foreground, and then we have a beautiful sunset. Even though those are 3 great elements, okay, in the scene, the issue lies here, right there. I know, based on my experience, that this photographer was wanting to showcase the solitude and loneliness of this really cool tree that's right here, okay, right in this circle here. Let me zoom in on it just in case you guys are having a hard time seeing it on the live stream here. There's a big tree way out there, and it's just kind of a lonely tree sitting on a hill. Now that has all the ingredients to make a very, very cool photo. The issue lies with the sunset, okay? And I know that's crazy to say as a photographer, right? I think this photo would have been way better without all the clouds and beautiful light and all this, what's really a beautiful distraction taking away from the tree. I think the tree is really the main subject matter of this image here. So let me tell you what I think could have made this better. If the entire sky was a blue, maybe this was a blue hour with no clouds, just a completely blank blue sky, even if it was midday sun, just a blank blue sky, you could have probably turned this photo into a black and white and really had that tree, the black silhouette of the tree, just pop. I mean, just pop right off of that sky. Because the angle of view that you're shooting at, from way down here on the ground up, you're lifting the tree up in the sky. So it's got a great, you know, background to work with. The issue is all of the clouds and the sunset, at least in my opinion. I'm not saying this is a bad photo by any stretch of the imagination. It's a beautiful sunset. I understand the composition. You have a good foreground interest. I like all the little, you know, the rolling hills in it. There's a little hill here. Whoops, let me get that back. There's a hill back here. Okay, there's another hill going down here. So it's got really good dimension. It's got, I can totally see where the photographer was going. I just think that the tree is the main subject, and if this was a blank blue sky, then that tree would have really popped right off the sky, even in color. But I think if it would have been a blue sky and you would have made it black and white, that would have been one of those like prints that could have qualified for fine art. Is this just that lonely bit of solitude? You know, in the way, there's an open field of snow way out there. There's a lonely little tree, and I think that would have made the image much stronger. Right now, the image is cool to look at, but I don't think it's very strong. It's not like a powerful composition, in my opinion. So I think that would have made it much better to just pop right off of that blank blue sky. So there you go. That's that one. Let's hop back into the live chat, see what's going on there before I move to the two here that are really good. There we go. There's my window. All right, let's see. My my eyes go to the snow in the foreground where it was dodged too much. Let me hop back over and see what you're talking about. Let's see. Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. I just noticed that. The foreground here does look like it was hit with a dodge tool, doesn't it? Or else some kind of light was painted all throughout here and here. It definitely looks a lot brighter than the more grayish, darkish midground. So that's a good point. That's a good point of critique there. It does kind of take away from a little bit of what's going on in the background. It is kind of too bright. But again, if it would have been black and white, I would have loved to see this in black and white. Let me just do it real quick. Why not? Let's go to adjustments. Even though it's not a blank blue sky, let's just go to saturation and just pull it down. See, I think already, let's get a curves adjustment going on. I think already that makes the image like super dramatic, super moody. You can immediately see the tree like a lot better. You get this curves on here and make a super strong contrasty curve. I don't know. I like that a whole lot. I think that just makes the tree pop so much off of that sky. Even with the super cloudy sky, it just makes it pop right off. So yeah, I don't know. I like it better as black and white. Again, that's just a style thing. So the photographer that took this might not have. But I agree. The foreground does have a weird kind of dodging effect that's kind of distracting. All right, let's move on to one of the ones that I think is really cool. So this one is a composited image of planes flying in from an airport. And the coolest part about this image is that it all kind of comes together perfectly. I think it's really cool. It's kind of like it's got this like vintage color grade to it. I'm not sure what the photographer did. It almost looks like he did one of those things where you kind of like take the saturation tool down, but you like boost the vibrance at the same time. Because the red in the foreground, the red airport ice cream in kebabs, that is just classic. It's just a cool little classic thing and there's even people there. That makes it so much better. There's life in this photo. It's harsh shadows, which this photo kind of needs that. I don't know, like you can see behind the people that's just some like big open field, maybe like a cornfield or something, and that's probably farmland in a very rural area with some kind of airport that's close. And there you go. It's got all the makings. The sky is not too overly saturated, which I really appreciate. But the reds on that airport ice cream sign just pop. The people are there. Again, it's got life and energy to it. And when you bring the planes and that together, it's really cool. The only comment I would have, is that, and I could be wrong, but it looks like the planes were scaled up to be bigger than they actually were. Now, I could be wrong. It could be that the planes really did fly that close right over this thing. But if the planes were scaled to become bigger than they actually were, then I would say just tone that back a little bit and make them a little more realistic. I think they're a little big. But again, if that's real, then hey, more power to you. That's awesome. That's cool that you got that close to the planes. So I really dig that one. I think that's really, really cool. I love that shot. It's just super classic. Okay, so the next shot here that I think is kind of a 5-star image is this one. And this one is same thing. It's got energy to it. It's just, you look at it and your heart starts beating a little faster. You know, you start imagining like, man, where was this photographer standing when he took this photo? Because this must have been a little freaky, you know, to photograph, because these waves are clearly out of control, and it looks like he was pretty darn close, unless he was far back with a telephoto lens. I'm not sure. But wow, a lot of good energy. I like the fact that the sky is just a nice clean palette, just a very nice subtle blue. There's not a lot to work with there with the color, which I like that. I really appreciate that the focus is on the water. I like the way that, I don't know if the photographer dodged the waves that are, you know, right near the lighthouse. Let me pull up a brush tool here so I can kind of highlight as I talk. Here we go. So right here, like this whole bit of waves right here, they're really nice, bright white and crisp. So I'm assuming the photographer might have dodged those, but it's real. I like the way the light is hitting those, unless it's dodged or something. But I like that because it really pops off of that subtle blue sky. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could really find a critique for this one. I mean, even the horizon over here, the horizon is a very straight line. So the horizon matches. I'm assuming this was shot on a tripod probably. I like that the photographer chose to do a faster shutter speed to really capture that energy. Obviously, the only thing would have been, it sucks that the water was kind of muddy and gross, but that, the photographer can't control that. When storms come in, that's what happens to the ocean or any body of water. It gets all muddy and sandy. So, yeah, well done. This is really nice. I would have liked to see how it looked if all of the waves were dodged a little bit. Would have been cool. I guess we could try that here. Let's add an adjustment. Let's just add a levels adjustment. Let's kind of bump up the highlights there a little bit. Then we can reverse that mask. Kind of subtly brush that in a little bit. Why not? Let's try it. We just kind of dodged a little bit of the waves right there. That's too much. Let's back that off. Here we go. I just want to dodge some of these, like the wave caps. Down here, all down here to the left. See, I think just a little bit more dodging down here would have really made those waves pop a little more. I'm kind of funny and snobby about my water. I don't like gray water. There's a lot of people that render like gray water or dark water in their scenes, and I like bright white, crisp water. Super, super bright white. Now, I know sometimes if it's a darker scene, you can't always do that, but look just what a little bit of dodging did there. I mean, it really just brought some of that water to life, and it really helped with the contrast there. So there you go. Just look at a before and after. That's before and after, before, after, before, and after. I think that made it even stronger. But again, well done. That's a great image. I love that one. Super powerful. That's something I'd like to hang on my wall. Very cool. All right, that will conclude the critique. So let's hang out with you guys for a minute and see what's going on in the chat window. Let's see what's going on over here. All right, let's see. Let's see. Reminds me of an ad for a drive-in or a fly-in. Yeah, I agree that the airport photo, it's very cool. It's like a super classic. It reminds me of something you'd see at like a fair or something, but even though I know there's not many fairs that are by airports, but that's very cool. Let's see, Rick says 50s. Yeah, it has that like 50s classic feel. I don't know. It looks like something you'd see in a diner or something. I don't know. Let's see. Would this look better in black and white? Awesome shot. I'm not sure which shot you were talking about. Sorry, I was critiquing. Was it the airport photo or the lighthouse? Let's see. What happens if you edit the watercolor to match the watercolor in the background? You could do that. You could alter the color. It would look just a little bit funny though, probably. Because I've tried that before, and I don't go that far into editing. I don't like literally altering the color of something that wasn't that color. You can do that, of course, and I know sometimes with client work, if they ask you to capture something specific, you can do that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, I'm sure you could figure it out, and there is a way to do it with masking and blending modes, but I would just leave it how it is. It's real. It's real. It's a very honest image, because that is how it looks when it's stormy. Matter of fact, it's been raining here for 2 days, and the lake that's right outside my neighborhood, it's all brown and muddy. That's just what happens when it storms. So even though it doesn't look as pretty, it's real. Let's see. It says the last image. Okay, so black and white. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like in black and white. I'll hop back in and let's see real quick. Let's turn back on that dodging and burning, and then let's add. We'll just do this here. Zoop. Ooh, it does look nice in black and white. It looks good like that too. Let's add a curves layer. Do the strong contrast there. Oh yeah, that does pop in black and white, doesn't it? You have to dodge the lighthouse a little more to bring that out some. Ooh yeah. Hey, good call. Very good call. And that makes a really nice black and white. What if we even like took the black and white and lowered the opacity? Where's it at? Right here. And just added like a little bit of color. There's full color. If we just like ease that opacity in and just make it like a super desaturated, that looks kind of nice too. And that also kind of takes away from that muddy water. Yeah, I like it. It looks good both ways. All right, let's hop back. He says, love it. Yeah, yeah, it actually does look good. It does look, it really pops in black and white. Good eye. Very good eye. All right, well, cool. So that will conclude today's critique. I'll hang out for a little bit and answer your questions. Remember, if you guys want to get critiqued, just post a photo on Instagram, and whenever you post it, use my hashtag FMEcritique, and that will kind of put your photo into a pool of photos that I can choose from. And I do want to make a comment about that. So as I'm searching through all my photos to critique every week, I've noticed that there's like 150 photos by like one person, and the same thing with the next person. So if you guys don't mind, maybe post like 5 photos, and if you want to post another one, then go back and like unhashtag one of your photos and post another one, because it's just getting confusing that there's one person posting all the photos or another person. Like I have like 5 or 6 people that I see almost every time post like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 photos. So yeah, if you guys don't mind, just post like maybe 5 max, so that way not one person kind of outweighs everyone else from getting critiqued. Also, whenever you're posting on Instagram, if you guys don't mind to make sure that when you tag it, if you guys don't mind, I might reach out to you and email me like a full resolution, because I've been screenshotting them. I tried that for a while, but I would reach out to people and they wouldn't respond, or else they wouldn't message back. So yeah, if you, just a heads up to anyone that's watching, I might reach out to you and actually get the full res JPEG, because these are mainly just screenshots and they're really low res. So I know the live stream only comes through at 720 or 1080 anyway, but let's see. Is there a theme, or can we post any genre? Yeah, you can post any genre. Any genre at all. It's I'm willing to critique anything. Obviously, I'm better at critiquing like landscapes and portraits. But yeah, if you want to do product photography or whatever, I'd love to see anybody's work. One other thing I'll say to kind of end this is also, if you can post images that you're intending on looking professional. There's like 20 or 30 like family photos, like iPhone selfie family photos that are in there. I don't really understand. I can't really critique that. I mean, how am I going to critique a family photo? I'm just going to piss somebody off if I say grandma looks bad in a photo, right? So, yeah, don't post like family photos, like just like Thanksgiving get-together photos. That's just do like your portfolio work. If you think it should be in your portfolio, then post it and hashtag it with my critique, and then I will gladly critique it from there. But I don't want to make anybody mad by critiquing their family photos. So yeah, if you guys could hold off from doing that, that would be awesome. But yeah, I'll hang around for a couple more minutes if you guys have any last-minute questions, and then I will let this upload. And I have 2 more videos I recorded today that I'll be releasing next week. Let's see, what else is coming up? I'm going to be releasing a new tutorial soon. I'm done with the planning. I'll be starting the recording on it the beginning of next week. It's going to be a Disney and theme park photography tutorial. So I've already taken so many Disney photos, and those are probably the most requested photos I get on like how I edited them. So I'm going to do like a Disney World post-processing video on how I get the look and how I shot all the photos. So with each lesson, there'll be like how I post-process the Disney photos, and then there'll be a companion video that goes with that lesson on me just talking to a camera, telling you the backstory behind the photo. Like where I was, how I planned it, what camera lens did I use, what my thought process was, how I get Disney photos with no people in them, all that kind of stuff. I'll go through my entire planning process so that if you guys are at a theme park, you can kind of use the same tips and tricks that I use, and you can kind of get those really, really nice, vibrant, long exposures that I do of all my theme park work. So that will be a new tutorial that's hitting my store. I'm going to hope it's done and sealed by like end of next month, so end of May, possibly beginning of June, but my goal is end of next month to have that launched. I don't know a price yet because I don't know how many hours it's going to be, but I will work on that. Just wanted to give you guys a little spoiler alert for that. Let's see. Thanks for sharing the video. Thanks. Yep, absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. That's as long as you guys watch, I will keep doing them. That's kind of how it is with this whole YouTube channel. I didn't think anyone was going to want to watch an overweight 30-year-old nerdy guy talk about camera stuff. But, here we are at almost 15,000 subscribers, and I owe it all to you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's see. Can I ask a different question not related to the topic? Yeah, no, absolutely. It's still a live chat, so just ask away. Ask whatever you want to ask. Whatever you want to ask. And again, if anyone is, I know we're live right now, but if anyone is watching this on the recording, I'll put the timestamp in the description of what time the critique starts and ends, so you guys don't have to watch all the extra fluff of me just hanging out if that bores you to death. Hey, what's up, Chad? How you doing, man? I'm surprised one of your photos didn't make it in here. Every time I go through my photo critique, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, go follow Chad Sifford on Instagram. He's got incredible photos of animals, like just all kinds of wildlife with this like crazy lighting effect. Like the background is always like just super black with this insane lighting on all the wildlife. It's a crazy effect. So go ahead and follow him on Instagram. You will not be sorry for that. Glad to see the critique is back. Yes, yeah, me too. I've been so wrapped up in reviewing the Nikon D850 that I've taken off of this critique and some regularly scheduled stuff here on YouTube to pour all my time into reviewing that camera. So now I'm glad the review is done. I can just relax a little bit and get back to the normal stuff. Yeah, so other than that, what's keeping me busy is I'll be working on that new Disney tutorial. And I hope you guys are interested in that because I'm making it after a lot of requests for specific how I get the Disney look and how I plan my trips and stuff like that. So I'll cover like my entire Disney World tips and tricks for photography from like point A all the way to Z. All right, let's see. Someone up here said, "Can I ask a question not related to the topic?" So I'm assuming that I'm going to get a question here in a minute, so I'm not going to end the live chat just yet. I'll wait like a couple more minutes. So yeah, again, if you guys have any questions or whatever, by the way, regarding just kind of a random thought, regarding the tripod that I got, the new Pro Media Gear tripods that I'm using, I did decide that my main tripod is going to be the Pro Media Gear 42 series, so I am going to upgrade to the 42, and I'm probably going to keep the 34. I have the 34 right here, and I love the 344L series. I mean, it's really nice. Here's the legs right here. They're super, super nice, super high quality, and I mean, I love that it goes all the way to 71 inches tall. So yeah, I love these, but I think I'm going to get the 42 series so I can get the super beefy legs on the tripod. And I've been told by Pro Media Gear that they've just been selling so many of them that they're out of stock right now. So I'm hoping in the next few weeks, crossing my fingers, that I'll get one of those in. And that's going to be a big boy tripod. It's like weighs 6 pounds. The legs are like huge. They're 42 millimeter diameter legs. Here we go. Here's the question. I'm a beginner, torn between the Fuji X-T2 and X-T20. Which would you recommend for a beginner? That's a tough question. So before I answer that, what kind of photography do you shoot, number one? And do you care about weather sealing and having a really big bright viewfinder? Because I've made a video on why I didn't buy the X-T20. Now the X-T20 is a very good value and a very good camera, but I would still, if you're asking me personally, I would pick the X-T2 all day long. But the X-T20 is smaller, and it's a nice little compact size. It's a very, very good camera. It's got the touch screen. It's got some newer features, but it really depends on what you shoot. Because if you're a beginner and you're like buying this one camera and you're like exhausting all your budget on it, then I might bump you up to the X-T2 so that you can have something that's weather sealed and you have kind of the extra professional features that'll just kind of take you through the rest of your career for a couple of years, honestly. I mean, you could keep that camera for the next few years and be fine. I know people that are still shooting with the Nikon D700 for crying out loud. And that camera is still very, very good, even as today's standards. It's still got a very good look for skin tones. That's why people typically use them. Wedding photographers love the D700. And you can get those for like $600, $700. All right, I'll hang around until this guy responds real quick so I can help him out with this X-T2, X-T20 question. So yeah, in other news, what are you guys doing today? You guys watching from work or from home or somewhere? Who knows? Where are you guys watching from? I always like to figure that out so I can see how many different states or countries. Let's see. Awesome. Thanks. Just a hobby and for daily use, traveling, more for portraits and landscape. If you're doing a lot of traveling, honestly, both of them will be good. I might, if you're doing a lot of traveling and weight is an issue, I would, grab the X-T20. It's going to be cheaper. You can spend more money on Fujifilm lenses. It's still a really, really good camera. The only reason I might push you into the X-T2 is because it's got the big, beautiful viewfinder, and it just feels a little better, and it is weather sealed. So if that's important to you for landscapes, if you're going to be out in like humidity and the elements and around sand while you're traveling and stuff, you might want to get the X-T2. And if you're interested in video at all, the XH1 is also a really good option. That's the new one that they just came out with. Watching from home right before going to bed. It's 1 a.m. Oh, wow. It's 1 a.m. where you are. Wow. Watching while traveling at the moment. Haha, nice. Well, hopefully you're not driving. Be careful out there. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I love that you guys... just are willing to watch me just ramble on about camera stuff and gear and critiques. Oh, got another comment coming in. I may be silly, but I gave my daughter my Canon 80D, and I'm using the X-T20 for daily carry, and I love it. My son has the X-T2, and I like it. Yeah, that's not silly at all. The X-T20 is great for daily carry. That's what I use my X-T2 for now. I mean, it's awesome. Let's see. Chad says, I went to the dark side, Eric. Sony A7R III. No complaints as of now. Amazing. Really? So did you sell your D850 to go to the A7R III? Wow, that surprises me, Chad. I know it's a great camera, but man, I thought you were a Nikon dude. Let's see. Watching from the home office. Riding. Okay, good. Riding. Make sure you're not driving there. Bought an X-T1 as the first camera to begin, and just missing some megapixels. Great camera anyway. Oh yeah, the X-T1 is... I own an X-T1 still. It's phenomenal. Let's see. I do a lot of panos. Would you recommend the Really Right Stuff ball head? Yeah, well, there's... Let me see if I have my other ball head here. I don't think I have it. Hold on one second. All right, so if you do a lot of panos, there's a couple options. So Really Right Stuff. This is the Really Right Stuff BH55. Okay, so this is a very, very, very good ball head, but it's really heavy and chunky and meaty. And Really Right Stuff makes like a pano system, like a panorama gimbal, but it's just big. It's big and it takes up a lot of room in the bag. So if you want pano gear, I would recommend the Acratech. The Acratech panorama head. I just did a video on this, so go back a couple videos on my channel. This is the panoramic head. Okay, so it's got your fluid forward motion, and then it's got your panning motion here, so left and right, so you can do multi-row panoramas. And then it's attached to the Acratech leveling base. So this will fine-tune the leveling of your tripod regardless of what's happening with your legs, and then you can do your panos on this. So Really Right Stuff or Acratech makes, I mean, they both make really good products. If you're just looking for like a ball head, Really Right Stuff Really Right Stuff is known to be amazing. But if you're looking for pano gear specifically, the Acratech pano gear is just lightweight. I can just throw this kit right here in my bag. It takes up just like a little lens slot, and I just grab this out whenever I do panos. I have the leveling base, and it's just all ready to go for me. Now, eventually I might get the actual leveling base, the Pro Media Gear leveling base that goes for the tripod, and at that point, then I might just go full Really Right Stuff. I haven't decided yet, but the Acratech pano gear is very well built and good value and very, very high quality. Just small. It's like a perfect, hiking, trekking pano kit because it's just small. Let's see. Oh man, more comments coming in. Let's see. Good night from Norway. Wow, Norway, that's awesome. Thank you for watching. I'm out in Tacoma. Glad you're reviewing pics again. Is Instagram only square format? Instagram's weird. They normally do like a 4x5 format. You can do like a longer portrait format, but it still kind of makes you do like a funny crop. Let's see. Chad says, I was Nikon and Fuji, but the rest is history. Starting to do more weddings now. Eye and face detection is fire. Yeah, okay. Well, if you're doing weddings, I understand that because yeah, the Sony stuff, the eye tracking is pretty redonkulous. It's really good. So I understand. That looks like a great bit of kit. Thanks so much. Absolutely. Let's see. Which one is better lens to use for traveling and daily use? 23 or 35 f2. Any thoughts? Planning to do to buy a lot of lenses. I have the 35 f2 and I love it. I think it's the perfect focal length. It's like a 50mm. You can't go wrong with a nifty 50. So I say the 35 f2. It'll give you a more pleasing bokeh too because it's a little bit longer of a prime. Because you can do some street work and you can do some intimate portraits as well with that. So you have a nice afternoon, evening, night, everybody. Good night from Germany. Wow, Germany. That's awesome. Good night. Thank you for watching. Is the critique done? Yeah, the critique is done, Dre. I'm sorry. I did record this, though, so as soon as it gets done processing, it will be back up to play for a recording. And I know I've said I'm going to get off like 3 times now, so this time I'm really going to go. So I'm sorry if I missed your comments. The comments have been flying in all of a sudden. So, all right, guys. Seriously, thanks for watching. You can catch the next critique next week, now that they will be weekly again. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.